Hello Malaysia, hello world. Apa khabar? ECM Talk is back with another topic. Students under lockdown. Are they okay? I'm Rajesh Shahrul, your host. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced leaders in politics and at education institutions to take drastic measures that affect how citizens and students interact and socialize with each other. In many countries around the world, individuals are required to reduce physical contact to others outside one's household. Additional measures include quarantines and closing of non-essential stores, schools and universities. As many universities suspended classroom teaching and switched to online teaching, the lives of students have changed drastically. While social distancing measures may successfully slow down the spread of the infection and relieve the public health systems, they may eventually increase the social isolation of students and affect their psychological well-being and mental health. In other words, placing them under a lockdown situation. Let us hear more from someone who deals with such a situation almost every day in his current working life. Welcome back, Professor Azrin Arifin, Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Student Affairs Department of Segi University. It is good to have you back in our program, sir. And you being a strong supporter of ECM Talk, we welcome you. Apa khabar, sir?
Khabar baik, YM. Thank you very much for having me on this talk show again.
Thank you, sir. Prof, how has a year of lockdown impacted students? Perhaps you can share with us some of the problems or issues which were encountered by your students throughout the year of the pandemic.
Well, this is a very important topic because it has actually involved most of our work in the last 1 year or so. And I can only base this comments on the work that we've done at the Student Affairs Department at Segi University. Let me just tell you, the first thing that I did was, when I got the question, was to ask the question of what kind of problems students have academically and what kind of problems they have which are non-academic. So for the academic question, I've asked lecturers about it, and a dear friend said that the main problem with the students during the pandemic is they find it very difficult with the new normal. I think it's about the study environment that they have at home, which really is not conducive sometimes for effective online delivery of teaching.
Right.
Secondly, I approached my counselors, and they gave me the answers that we really are going to talk about in this session, and these are problems which are non-academic, and I can list down for you in order of priority. The first one is depression, anxiety, loneliness, homesick, family and relationship problems, overthinking, and lastly, suicidal thoughts.
Right.
So, over the last 1 year, we saw 200 cases and or episodes, and they were dealt with by our counselors, and mainly it's more of a mindful relaxation that we had to impart to these people through three different channels. First
Right.
is one-to-one discussion. Second one is through group discussion, and the other one is through group counseling. So
Right.
we've got three means of sorting out these issues that students have during the pandemic.
And has it been effective, Prof?
Sorry, say it again.
Has it been effective with this
Oh,
counseling?
yeah.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Yeah. The sessions that we've had with the students have been very useful because people tend to pour their hearts out. And if it's very personal, then they would go onto the one-to-one session. But the group session has the advantage of having peers around you, having colleagues around you that would be sharing the same problems that you have. And this is important because, depression, the first on the list, is something that is so prevalent amongst university students. And it's very important because it can lead to suicide. But luckily enough, suicidal attempts have been on the last rung of the ladder here, so to speak. But we've got anxiety, which is the feeling of helplessness, the feeling of the negative thinking that you have, the palpitations that you get, and it can actually be a normal reaction, but it's really a reaction to stress. And the Bahasa Malaysia word for anxiety is resah, kegelisahan, keresahan, kebimbangan. Things might be very small, but because of the pandemic, these small things make them feel very worried about it. And the other one is about loneliness and homesick. I mean, it's common for people who study abroad to experience this. You get to be very lonely if you're living alone, but luckily enough, some of our students are living together, and they somewhat overcome that by talking to each other. But homesick, I mean, you can't avoid it. Family and relationships, of course, you've got some family problems as well if you're a local or if you're overseas because of the pandemic and because of the distance. And the other one is overthinking. You do get overthinking as a way of life, so to speak, because of the you're not so sure what's going on outside, and you're not sure of how long this is going to last.
Yes.
So I think if I may share with you, I've got children studying overseas, and they've been abroad for a long time now because of the pandemic. And I connect with them, and I know the exact feelings that students have because I've got university going students. I've got university going kids. Sorry, my daughter's 23 and she's at the University of London, and my son is at Bristol University, and then they're coping quite well because the support system in the UK is pretty good as well. But I can understand how our students feel. I've got first-hand experience, and I'm very empathetic about how our students feel.
Well, I suppose, Prof, what's important to these students is that they just need someone to communicate to, someone to talk to, isn't it, Prof? Rather than leaving them all by themselves and leaving them alone, and that can be very dangerous, right, Prof?
That's right. The main thing about the lockdown is to keep connected. To keep connected, and as a student, you're very good at doing this. I mean, you're better than us, the older generation. Keep connected and keep finding your friends. Keep supporting each other. And I mean, you can rely on lecturers in your classes because they are very empathetic as well and sympathetic. They play their part in providing the best education that they can give through online. But you yourself, I think the communal feeling should be alive during the pandemic, and it's also the mindset. You got to be very positive about it, and it's very easy to say these things. You got to be thankful to your current health and to avoid negative views. But having gadgets is good because it helps. They keep you connected, and they also make sure that you are actually able to follow the online teaching effectively.
Correct. Prof, in your view, who should play roles in governing our students' mental health and welfare? Is it the individual itself, the teachers, the institution, or maybe the government?
I think they all play their role to some extent.
Okay.
I think the first one is as I said just now, the teachers, the lecturers, because we're a university, I think lecturers should be emphatic enough, and they should play their role in making sure that they can pick up people who are having problems when they're delivering their online classes. And to start with, they really got to pull their socks up and make sure that their delivery is up to the mark. Right. And not just do it like chin chai like that. You can't. Yeah. It's got to be top of the range kind of teaching to be given, to give the education in an alternative way, albeit it's not the same as physical face-to-face teaching, but the quality is there if you apply a bit of creativity. Secondly, the institution. Yes, the institution plays a very important role, and at the university we've got the student affairs department, and we've got a special counselling unit to deal with these matters, and we've got qualified and dedicated counsellors who would actually sit in front of students in a Zoom or in a Teams virtual meeting to sort the problems out. And they also do group discussion, as I've just said, where they get people to come in groups and they share the same problems. And they also do group counseling where they propose a topic and everyone comes in and follow that same topic in case it relates to them. Right. So I think all parties are equally important, but I need to tell you this. As far as the government is concerned, I've actually found out about this from my counsellor Alice. I always go to Alice when it comes to mental well-being, and she told me that as far as the government is concerned, under the Ministry of Health and Mercy Malaysia, they've got this psychosocial support for frontliners and also the public. And within the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development, they've got Talian Kasih to deal with domestic violence and child abuse that can happen during the pandemic. You know that when the pandemic started a year ago, the minister actually gave some advice about, you should talk like Doraemon and that sort of. I think she was trying to be very, very helpful in making sure that things are, are kept at a cool temperature at home, because tempers can flare. But they have Talian Kasih, and the other one is Jakim, the Islamic department, but it's not just meant for Muslims. It's called My Care COVID-19. Regardless of race and religion, you can always call them up. And you've got NGOs, you've got befrienders. They're more concerned about people with depression, people with suicidal tendencies, and they're there to provide emotional well-being and psychological support. And lastly, for international students, your embassies are there if you need really help about traveling. As far as your passports are concerned, EMGS is always available for you to connect. And Ministry of Higher Education itself has the COVID-19 operations room, which is open 24/7.
Very good.
There you go. The government is pretty supportive about this.
Prof, what are the crucial self-care tips for students who are struggling through another pandemic lockdown? Example, how can they utilize their time? How can they keep their mental well-being healthy while struggling to pursue their studies?
Well, I've got two answers for this. The first one is something that I got from UPSI through Alice again. She helped Professor Aziz to draft it out. I can read it out for you. It's very important. It's meant for students.
Okay.
Focus on happy things every day. Be thankful for your health. Believe in God, if you believe in God, and you should, from Rukun Negara. Comply with the SOPs. Avoid focusing on information that can cause fear, because fear itself can actually weaken your immune system.
Right.
And believe that the virus can be overcome somehow one day. Do exercise and practice a healthy lifestyle. Get COVID-19 vaccine as soon as you can, through any means that you could at the moment, and stay positive and productive. That's the official part of it. But the other one is I got from Alice. It's very important actually. It's about getting the hormones built in your body, and therefore
right,
the
right.
endorphin, which is a painkiller, and that
Right.
can come about by jogging and eating dark chocolates. Serotonin
Yes.
is a mood stabilizer. You can get it by meditation and by a walk in the nature, perhaps.
Yes.
Dopamine, the reward chemical, it's obtained through relaxation
It does.
activities. For example, cooking, and oxytocin, the love hormone. it's something you can get by socializing with family and friends. That's what
Yes.
I meant. Is to keep connected. If you stay in touch with friends, if you stay in touch with family, this
Absolutely.
hormone is very important, actually.
Absolutely.
Oxytocin.
Yes, yes.
It is something which you need, and also something that keeps you going, really. So all
Yes.
the four hormones, and this is very much the very ecstasy of love, the love hormone.
Right.
Because in the end, with all this advice, life is, this is from Hamlet. Yeah? Love all, trust a few, and do wrong to none. Because life is the culmination of the people in your life,
Yes.
the time you spend with them, the memories you create, and the stories you treasure from these experiences. Now, I picked up from Hamlet some of these things. So I think
Beautiful, Prof. Beautiful. Yes.
that should be inspirational enough for students to
Absolutely.
pull themselves through. We're all having problems,
Yes.
and we're trying to comfort each other
Yes.
in
yes.
in these difficult circumstances.
Yes. Like you said,
All
Prof,
right.
the magic word here is connectivity. Yes, Prof?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Professor Azrin Arifin. Thank you. Thank you, Professor, for sharing your experience and thoughts on this topic today. The flattering of the infection curve during the COVID-19 pandemic requires strict public health measures, such as social distancing, closure of public institutions, and a reduction of social life. But when implementing such measures nationally and at universities, it is important to consider and counteract potential negative effects on individuals' social networks and mental health. Once again, thank you, Professor Azrin Arifin, for being in our program today. ECMians, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Edu Channel Malaysia. Take care and stay safe, everyone. Jumpa lagi.